when the first atomic bomb was dropped on the 6th of August, I received a postponement because I was ready to go. I'd selected my drop zones, and I'd selected the targets, exact targets I was going to cut, computed the charges, knew how many people I needed to help me carry those over to, and we were set to go. And I made many recce trips in flights that were designed to drop supplies to Ho Chi Minh. I would make my reconnaissance, and then my team would kick the bundles out for Ho Chi Minh, and a colonel or a Major Allison Thomas, who was the OSS commander with Ho Chi Minh. When the second bomb was dropped, my mission was canceled, and I was ordered back to Kunming. And they sent an airplane down to pick me up and told me to turn my supplies over to the local OSS commander and bring my team back. And when I got there, they took me into the colonel who was commanding the OSS there, and he asked if I'd be willing to take a team and jump into a POW camp on Hainan Island that OSS had been directed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff to get into every POW camp possible and get the people out. Well, we couldn't, of course, know that we not only suspected that they might do this, we were reading their mail. The purple code had been broken, and we were reading that mail, and they had given instructions to the Japanese commanders that they would execute all POWs under their control, and even told them how to do it most efficiently. So it was kind of an urgent thing that Donovan had passed on to his commander in China, and I took that mission and did jump. I selected 8 other men to go with me, including a Nisei Japanese interpreter, born and raised in Hawaii, and a Chinese who had good knowledge of English, but he was fluent in Mandarin, the national language, as well as the dialects on the island of Hainan. And we went in and our problems were basically that the Japanese did not know that they were losing the war, or at least the 10,000 Japanese on that island did not have any idea that the Japanese were losing the war. And so it was a surprise to them when in broad daylight I jumped my 9 guys into an area right near the POW camp and insisted on taking out charge. And the things were a bit dicey, I would say, for at least 36 hours before I got in to see the prisoners, realize the bad shape they were in. And by that time, the Japanese commander on the island came down to meet with me, and he in the meantime had gotten word from Tokyo to cooperate, and I was able to get the prisoners and move them out, flew them. The Americans, most of the prisoners were Dutch and Australians who had been captured in February of 1942, right after the Japanese, and had been terribly abused by the Japanese, physically beaten up, in addition to being the victims of an experiment by the Japanese. The Japanese doctor in charge was running an experiment to see how little input was needed to a human body to continue to get it to work. And these guys were dying of beriberi. A lot of them were dying from injuries suffered from being beaten up. And it was a very shocking experience to see the condition of these men. But and some continued to die after I got there. But I got all of those that were living out, primarily by moving them. The Americans I flew to China, to Kunming, and then the rest of them I put on British and Australian destroyers that were diverted into the harbor in the southern part of the island.